I think it's important to know that whether this is the beginning of your journey or you've been in the beauty industry for a hot minute, there is always room to grow and improve. And I think that you probably know that. Find ways that work for you and your hours that you can place efforts into marketing your business in a different way. Welcome back to the Successful Stylist Academy podcast. I'm your host, Ambrosia Carey, where we talk all things business and marketing tips for the beauty industry. Today, we're talking about the top 5 marketing mistakes that salons make in 2023. But before we go into those top 5 mistakes, I really want to hear from you. As we close down this season, it's really great to get a check-in with you and hear what you find most useful. So if you can take a moment to leave a review with us on Apple Podcasts and share with us, what do you find most valuable with our podcast and what would you love to see more of? As we dip a little bit more into the business and marketing side of our industry, and we really focus on some tangible steps, we know that you really love the top 5 tips. So we're bringing those back. But we want to know if 15 minutes and under for a podcast timing is better for you, or if you like the longer form podcasts. Your opinion really matters, and you help shape this podcast specifically. So without further ado, let's go ahead and go into our top 5 marketing mistakes that salons make in 2023. Starting out with number 1. Ignoring the changing market and client preferences. This is something that I see a lot of salon owners make because they're focusing so heavily on trying to attract everyone. But as you've heard me talk before, when you attract everyone, you're really actually attracting no one specific. Failing to stay up to date with changing marketing trends and client preferences can lead to a disconnect with your target audience. So we do have a marketing course that is specifically for the tools, resources, and expertise you need to take your salon to the next level. I'll add that in the show notes, but I think it's important to know that whether this is the beginning of your journey or you've been in the beauty industry for a hot minute, there is always room to grow and improve. And I think that you probably know that if you're listening to this already. Marketing mistake number 2 that salons make right now is over-reliance on paid advertising. Now, relying too heavily on paid advertising can lead to high costs and it can limit your reach, especially if it's not backed up with a strong organic presence. So my suggestion to you is figure out where that organic presence is funneling mostly into, and then you can back up a couple of high converting posts into an actual ad. This is something that you can do through Facebook, on Instagram specifically, or the TikTok platform. Today, you can even put a little bit into your shorts if that is where your audience is living. But certainly, I think it's important to know where your audience is coming from. Marketing mistake number 3 is lack of personalization and targeting. So kind of going off of tip number 2, sending out generic and impersonal marketing messages can result in low engagement and conversions. And the reason why is because you haven't yet built a relationship with them. So again, going back into the organic search, the clients that you've already made a relationship with, focus on those, and then you can target or retarget clients who are similar. So just focusing on where you're personalizing your behaviors and where you're creating your relationships. So one of the ways that you can personalize your messaging is through email marketing. You can specifically send emails to your clients as kind of an introduction. It's a way of warming them up, so to speak. In that poll, you will ask them a series of questions, and if they answer yes, it will send them down one funnel. If they answer no, it will send them to another. This is something that you should set up ahead of time. And quite honestly, when I set mine up, I would say it took about 3 hours to sit through and write out all those emails. But the magical number is 3. If you can sit and write out 3 emails ahead of time and set them up into a segment, it makes it a lot easier to make your client journey a full, well-rounded introduction. I prefer Flowdesk. That's something that's personalized for me. I just prefer the way the templates look, and they're nice and clean and they're not too wordy. So that is something that if you're interested in, I can also put in the show notes, and that will give you 50% off for a full year if you want to try it out for your business. But there are so many different types that you could use. What really matters in all this is time to cost ratio. I know you guys have heard me talk about this before, but sometimes with free services, you end up spending more time on something. And to me, I personally feel like I would rather put time into something that's going to generate income. So if I have a marketing funnel that's already set up inside of my email, I would prefer to use the one that's already created. So that way, all I have to do is focus on the verbiage and send it out. And it makes it a lot more seamless for me. The fourth marketing mistake that most salon owners make is neglecting mobile optimization. With the majority of internet users now accessing the web via mobile devices, neglecting to optimize for mobile can result in poor user experience and lost opportunities. Now, this isn't the same thing as having online booking. I talked to so many salon owners who have chosen to actually take off online booking because it was impractical, or there were clients that were booking the wrong services and it was actually causing confusion and headache. What I'm talking about is opt-ins, a chance for your clients to pre-book their appointments. We like to use mobile checkout, for example, so that way we send the notification directly to them via text. They can fill out their information. They can discreetly put the tip in if they want to, and it even gives them the option to pre-book as well. So all this is done through mobile device. And what I like about it is that it makes things a little bit more streamlined and it doesn't congest the front desk as much. Obviously, we want to send out text reminders because these days we're juggling so many things and we've got how many calendars synced up, and sometimes it just slips between the cracks. We also want to make things more streamlined for the stylist, but we also want to make it convenient for our client. Okay, and contrary to popular belief, I am going to go ahead and debunk a couple of beliefs when it comes to marketing channels. For tip number 5 on the most common mistakes salons make is failing to diversify marketing channels. Relying on a single marketing channel can actually limit your reach and can put your business at risk if your channel becomes less effective. So let's use Instagram, for example. We all know that the conversion rates have dropped. We know that your optimization on there has dropped. We know that with the algorithm, we don't know if we're reaching the correct audience. We know that TikTok has blown up in the last 2 years. We know that people are spending more times on other channels as well. So what I want to encourage you to do is, if you have one channel that you're specifically comfortable with, don't abandon it. Just be more specific with your timing on it and explore a secondary one. So that way you can reach a larger market audience that way. So whether you're looking to expand your business, increase your profit, or simply improve your marketing skills, we do have a few more tips for you. And I'm going to actually inject that in the show notes as well. We go up to top 9 tips. So I went over 5 with you here in the podcast, and in our blog post, we go into 9. So I want to share a little story with you before I close things down, since we are in the storytelling season, and this does have to do with marketing. 7 years ago, I started working with salon owners. And one of the common threads that I started seeing is that most salon owners were not separating their brand as a person from their brand as a business. Those are 2 separate things. You as a brand is your person, who you bring in, who you attract, who understands you, the people that say yes to the date. So I want to hopefully encourage/inspire you to find ways that work for you and your hours, that you can place efforts into marketing your business in a different way. So that way you can have ultimate freedom. You can travel and get paid. You can buy a house or your second house. You can create your ultimate path toward retirement at an early age. This is something that I'm so passionate about, that I really want those of you who are listening to feel like you have a guide that's kind of gone through some of these things so you can start doing it earlier. I want nothing more than to see a path of success that leads to early retirement and less burnout in my industry. I want nothing more than to see less glorification into working those long hours. And I want nothing to see more in my industry to not have to talk about your value, your worth, what you're charging. That should have nothing to do with the outline of your business. Those are logistics inside your business. But I want to talk about what's the end goal here. The goal for me is to ultimately be free and have a safety net of retirement. So that way I am independently wealthy and I can pass it on to my family as well. And that's what I want for you guys too. So hearing a little part of that story, if any part of that feels familiar to you, I want you to know, first of all, that you're not alone. And I want you to also know that sometimes it takes time to find the right strategy, and that's what I'm here for. And I want you to know that I have resources for you for a reason, because over the last 7 years, I've been working with so many salon owners that are finding themselves in the red, or finding themselves really lost, confused, feeling themselves burnt out, maybe even feeling a little resentful towards staff or those who are in their salon space. And that's not a good place to be. So I want to remind you to dream big, set goals, and take action. And I am here for you each step of the way. I look forward to more conversations with you guys, and I love hearing your feedback. So thank you in advance for those amazing reviews on Apple Podcast. And thank you for these rich conversations we're having over on Instagram. And I want to wish you guys a happy, healthy day, and I will see you very soon.